Hello and welcome to iskipper.net. This is lesson 20, which is variation and deviation. Variation is the angular difference between the North Pole and the magnetic North Pole. The actual North Pole is where you'd expect it to be, at the top of the world. The actual magnetic North Pole is somewhere towards Greenland at the moment. All the lines on your chart point towards the true North Pole, but your compass actually points towards the magnetic North Pole, and that's why we need to calculate this angular difference to establish how far off course you are. The variation varies from place to place, and it also varies due to kind of your geology in the area as well, because the rocks have an effect on your compass. So what we've got here on the chart is what we call a compass road. I'm just going to kind of zoom in a little bit on the detail that you actually need to pick out. Here we've got what says variation 4 degrees and 5 minutes west in 2005. Then on the other side here, it's decreasing about 9 minutes annually. So what we need to do is be able to apply that 4 degrees variation to this year's date, and then be able to apply that to our compass course. To remember whether to take away or add your variation, I use the word Cadet, and that stands for compass. If you're at the compass end, you need to add east to get to true. So I've just drawn that out here. So compass to true, you add east, so that's plus east. So that means going that way you would take away the west, and also coming back the other way, so from true to compass you would have to go, you would plus west and you would minus east there. So going back to our example before, we worked out we've got 4 degrees of variation. So we've just worked out on our chart that where we want to go is at 0-70 degrees, true. That's what the T stands for there, true. So back to our compass, back to our Cadet, we're at true. We want to go to get the compass course. So we're going to plus, we've got to add the westerly variation. So back up to there, we've got 4 degrees of variation. 4 degrees of variation. So that means our magnetic course, what we'd have to stay on the compass, would be 0.74 degrees magnetic. Deviation is the effects that ferrous objects on your boat, how they affect your compass. So things like the engine, for example, will on certain headings pull your compass slightly off course, and things like mobile phones or anything metal near your compass can really affect it. And what you may well have on your boat is what we call a deviation card, and what you can do is work out what your heading is and work out what the deviation is on the actual card. And once you've done that, you can also apply that to your workings out, so that will actually give you a compass course rather than just a magnetic course. So what I've got here is an example of how to apply actual variation and deviation. We've looked at the chart and we've established that the variation for this year is 7 degrees west. Oh, excuse me, and that's just I've just made that up, but obviously if you were sailing in an area you'd have to check the chart for that area. And our deviation is 2 degrees east. So working from the top, we've measured a line on the chart, and that's 60 degrees, so that's what we call a true bearing. Then we need to apply our variation, which is 7 west, as we've just said. And now we need to work out whether to add or subtract that from that original 60. So back up to our Cadet, and we're going true to compass. So with the west, we're going to plus the west. So that'll give us 067 degrees, and that's what we call a magnetic bearing. That's different from a compass bearing because we've not applied our deviation yet. Moving on to deviation, it is 2 degrees east. So again, back to Cadet, you can probably work this one out, but because we're still going in the same direction, east is going to be, we're going to take away the east figure. So that was 2 degrees. So taking that away, we're taking 2 away from 067, which will give us a compass course of 065. And that's the actual course your navigator will give the helmsman to actually steer on that compass. So quite often when you're down below, you'll be just working from your chart and shouting up magnetic bearings up to the person on the helm. So what I quite often do, a little sneaky trick, is on the actual Portland plotter, is mark up on the gauge there what the variation is for that area. So we've established that the chart that I was working from is 4 degrees, so I just put a little line at 4 degrees and a little M, so I know that's magnetic. So then I'm steering on the 0 there, I'm steering 10 degrees, so then I automatically know for the magnetic I just need to add them 4 there, which would be 14 degrees, and that's what I'd shout up to the helmsman. And that's an easy way of getting around things, but if you want to do things really precisely, you need to use that Cadet.